Okay, the November 8th, 2023 meeting of the Municipal Code Enforcement Board is now called to order. If everybody would please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, the Municipal Code Enforcement Board is charged with conducting hearings to determine whether an alleged violation of the city code has occurred. Decisions made by this quasi-judicial board will be based on the evidence and facts presented this evening. Our meetings are conducted in accordance with Robert's Rules of Order, and each case will begin with the city presenting its evidence of the alleged violation. The respondent will then present his or her case. Both parties will have an opportunity to cross-examine all witnesses. The board members may question any witness. Comments by both parties must be relevant to the case. Persons wishing to speak will be given an opportunity to do so by the chairman and must address the board from the podium after giving their name and address. Upon request, copies of materials submitted by staff are available for review. Board members are reminded to obtain permission to speak from the chair, and questions of the city should be directed to the attorney for the city. This time I'll ask all persons who expect to give testimony tonight to stand and be sworn in by the city clerk.
Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Cases will be taken out of order to accommodate respondents and witnesses presented at tonight's meeting. Along those lines, gentlemen, we were going to take 5382 first, but I understand he's stuck behind a train. So when he gets here, we'll do that. Our first case tonight will be 23-4772, but we do have a couple of other matters to take ahead of that.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
you forgot the,
No, I didn't. That's what we're doing now.
Doing it now.
oh, okay, the first,
I'll take care of it.
oh,
But thank you.
I don't know, you started the
Staying on
case.
top of things. Okay. Before we get into the cases, we'll take care of ex parte communications. This time I'd like to ask the board members if they've had any ex parte communications regarding any matters coming before the Code Enforcement Board this evening. If you've had verbal communications, please disclose the sum and substance of the communications, when and where the communications occurred, and with whom it occurred. If you received any written communications, please disclose the nature of the communications and provide a copy to the city clerk to be filed in the record. Starting with you, Rod?
I've had none.
No, I've had done.
I've had none.
I've had none.
Very good. Minutes of the regular meeting held on October 11th, 2023. Have all the board members had an opportunity to receive the minutes and review them?
Yes.
If the minutes are acceptable, I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes.
Motion,
Yeah. I move to approve.
Second.
second.
Motion is second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? No nays. Motion carries. Okay, on to our first case, which again is 23-4772.
Case 23-4772, City versus Carlos Alberto Rivera and Evelyn Rivera for the property located at 8008 Dorado Court. The case is before the board based on an alleged violation of Section 8-28A1, permits application required. The case will be prosecuted this evening by Code Compliance Officer Doug Allen. The city has evidence that the notice of violation and notice of hearing were properly served.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman and board members. Doug Allen, Code Compliance Officer. This case was originated by a list from Community Development for sites with stop work orders in place for work without permits for installation of solar panels and the electrical work needed for the solar panels to be connected. This was originated on September 20th, 2023. I went directly to a notice of violation on that date with a reinspection date of October 3rd, 2013. I posted a copy at the residence and a copy was posted at City Hall for the 10-day requirement, and copies were mailed, both certified and regular mail, to the address of the owner of record. My reinspection on October 18th showed no change, so a notice of hearing was prepared on that date, and the case was scheduled for the November Municipal Code Board meeting. This time I'd like to submit photographic evidence taken by myself on September 21st and November 7th.
We'll accept those. Thank you.
Yep, that's correct. Sorry.
Exhibit number one Listing of the notice violation, exhibit number 2 shows the stop work order, and exhibit number 3 shows the solar panels and the electrical conduit connected to them. The site is not in compliance, and I'm seeking a ruling.
Good, any questions for the code officer?
I missed it, but when did you say you first observed the panels and when the notice of violation was?
September 20th.
Okay.
I have one question, because I have no experience with solar panels. The company that installed them, wouldn't they know that they needed the permit?
One would certainly think so.
Any other questions? Is the respondent here?
I don't believe so, no, sir.
Okay, very good. If there's no other questions, I will entertain a motion.
I'll do that.
Thank you.
In case number 23-4772, I move that the city has proven by the greater weight of evidence the following violation of the City of Temple Terrace City Code exists on the property located at 8008 Dorado Court with the applicable violation section 8-28 subsection A, subsection 1 permits requirement. This motion is based on the sworn testimony this board has received from the Code Enforcement Officer, Doug Allen. Along with any other evidence, including photos, affidavits, and the notice of violation, all of which is received and entered as part of the record of this hearing. I further move that the said violation be corrected on or before
December 13th, I think.
December
13.
13th, 2023. If the respondent does not comply with this order on or before that day, they are ordered to pay a fine for each and every day the violation continues past the date set for compliance. Upon considering the following factors, the gravity of the violation, any actions taken by the violator to correct the violation, any previous violations committed by the violator, I move that the fine be $50 per day.
We have a motion, do we have a second? No second? Motion fails for lack of a second. Need a new motion.
Is the $50?
Well, yeah, but
Yeah.
there's no second, so we didn't have a chance for conversation.
Yeah. I considered first
This is
of
not the time for, there is no motion on the floor. If you
Yeah,
want
yeah.
to make a new motion, make a new motion.
yeah, I'll make a new motion, but
Okay,
I just
thank you.
wanted to explain why I did the 50.
Well, you never got a second, so we're not at the point, so make a new motion.
All right. If I change it to 50, would that be seconded?
Well, you already made it 50.
If I made it 25?
We'll have to wait and see.
Only do I
Never
have?
got a second, so we never
I
got
have
to
to
the
read it
point of
again?
discussion. So make a new motion.
Ask the chair, if you
Do I-
would just accept the change to the fine amount.
Can I-
If all you're going to change is the fine amount, I will accept that revision.
Okay, I change it to $25.
Okay, the motion now is is everything he said, plus revising the $50 per day to $25 per day. Do we now have a second?
Second.
Motion is second. Any further discussion?
Yes, I considered, first of all, I consider that a serious violation, somebody constructing something and using especially electricity. And doing this, I don't want it to become a trend for these contractors or whoever, did this work. And I wanted to put a higher violation on this because that's not a normal, it's not like putting a fence or pieces of fence or fixing a roof or, Well, you can, it's the discussion, I know.
But you still wait.
I want to make it a lesson for contractors just before, because they're just, I keep hearing that in the city, and probably the city official is here, they do a lot of that. And and I think it's dangerous, Well, the owner is the responsible person to go to the contractor and say, I'm not going to let you do any work before you obtain a permit, and I want to see the permit. That's very simple. And I want some help from the staff. How much is the permit to install something like this, or to go through that process?
For a fence permit?
Yes.
No, for the roof, solar panel roof permit.
Solar panels for the building permit is about $100. The electrical is based on the value.
Somebody, mic is not on. You.
I think you can't hear.
Oh,
Oh,
maybe, yeah.
your mic is not on.
This is the reason. I don't mind to, you know.
Introduce yourself real quick.
Joe Ferris, city arborist and permit supervisor. Solar panel permits, the building permit is roughly around $100. Electrical is based on the value of the permit.
And how long does it take?
To get a permit, process can be 3 to 4 weeks with review. Once the building official signs off, we issue the permits.
And to put solar panels on the roof, you need 2 permits, one for the panels and
One for the, building permit for the panels themselves, one for the electrical.
Okay, thank you.
Did they get fined? I wanted to ask. Did they get fined for stop or,
You got a stop work order.
yeah, which is no fine with that?
You just fined them tonight.
Yeah, well, I fined them, but I feel it's very little for such an action. And on top of
I
that,
guess the question is, why don't you come on back up here, man?
yeah,
The
Sorry.
question that he's asking is, to release the stop work order, they have to get a permit. Is there an additional fine now that they had a stop work order? Is the permit cost gonna be more?
Yes, there's normally the $350 fine. There's a minimum stop work order fine.
and on top of that,
The state also allows to do a double permit fee for any stop work order. So it could be double its base fee. So the base fee for solar is $100, so we could double it to $200, plus you have the $350 and additional $14.50 in surcharges and government fees.
Okay.
and on top of that, the violator is not even here to tell us what happened. And that's why I went with the 50. Sorry, guys. I mean, I don't,
No, we understand.
Yeah.
Okay. You off your soapbox?
thank you. I'm not upset, but, you know,
I get it.
feeling like it's gonna become a trend, you know, or some, you know,
we'll-
because solar panels
hopefully
are
we'll put
coming
an end to
on
that
and, you
trend.
know.
We're here to hold the line.
Any other comments? Okay, we have a motion, we have a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? No nays, motion carries. Next case, please, which will be, we're gonna go back to number, oh, did he hear? He's done train spotting?
We're all set. I just have to swear you in. I have to swear you in.
Can you stand so he gets sworn in? Yeah.
Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Very good. Okay, we're gonna do your case now since you're here. So who's prosecuting?
Lori Smith.
Are you presenting? Okay. Yes, sir. Is there, let's go ahead and get started.
Oh, she gotta read the.
Go ahead.
Case 225382, City versus Marbella Terrace Townhomes HOA for the property located at 11568 Morris Bridge Road. The case is before the board based on an alleged violation of Section 12-768A1, tree unlawful removal, and Section 8-28A1, permits, application required. The case will be prosecuted this evening by Code Compliance Officer Lori Smith. The city has evidence that the notice of violation and notice of hearing were properly served.
Very good, thank you.
If I can, just want to make the board aware, this is a tree cutting violation, so it doesn't run the same way as your normal cases do. It's been noticed as an irreparable, irreversible violation, meaning one-time violation. There's no time to cure anything like that. So it'll be whatever fine you end up assessing is going to be the fine for the number of trees out there.
Very good, thank you.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, board members, Lori Smith, Code Compliance. This case was originated by Officer Allen on October the 4th, 2022. While Officer Allen was on routine inspections, he observed tree removals going on at the front entrance of Marabella Townhomes community. Officer Allen notified me of his observation. My inspection the same day revealed the required permit was not obtained prior to removal of protected pine and oak trees. I visited the registered agent and left a door hanger with the reinspection date of the 26th of October 2022. My reinspection on October the 27th, 2022 revealed no change. Therefore, a notice of violation was prepared with a compliance date of the 7th of November, 2022. Affidavit of service was obtained by hand delivery to Administrative Assistant Jessica Hall. Mr. Chairman, on December the 12th, 2022, Deputy City Attorney Ernie Mueller, City Arborist Joe Ferris, Director Tom Baroni, and I met with Marabella's attorney and one HOA board member to discuss the violations and mitigation for cutting the trees without the permits. City staff allowed at that time an extension until March the 1st, 2023, to conduct a survey of the property, especially the preserve, to determine how the HOA can best mitigate the unpermitted cutting of the trees. At this time, I would like to submit photographic evidence of the violation taken by Officer Allen on October the 3rd, 2022, and by Arborist Joe Ferris in January 2020, also in February 2021.
One? Okay,
Yes.
good. Thank you. We'll accept those.
Exhibit number 1 shows the front line pine and oak trees, image caption on Google before the removals. Exhibit number 2 shows the front of the property before the site clearing, image caption. It's on Hillsborough County Property Appraiser. Exhibit number 3 shows the tree removals at the front of the site. Exhibit number 4 also shows oak tree removals at the front of the site. City Arborist Joe Ferris is here tonight to answer any questions. He also has photographic evidence of all the trees that have been cut down.
Very good. Anybody have any questions for the code officer or for the arborist?
Either one
Just one at a time. Go ahead.
Wait,
Rod.
224 trees?
to replace.
No, sir. It was 26 trees, I want to say 26 trees and maybe a pine tree, I think. 26, 27 trees.
26 pines and 1 live oak.
There you go, sir. Were removed at the front of the site.
I think the arborist is going to be in a better position.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
As to the number of trees.
Do you have a question?
Well, I can wait for
Okay.
arborist to.
Let's hear from the arborist.
So it was a total of 27 trees, 26 pines, 1 oak. After evaluating the stumps that were left and applying the penalty per our code, the number of trees that it would take to mitigate what they removed were 224 trees, or a value of $67,200 to be paid into the fund. On December 12th, when we met to discuss the penalty, we had the discussion of how they can come into compliance and rectify the situation. It was my recommendation that they hire an outside arborist to evaluate any of their existing trees that may be in decline, have them do a report that I would approve in order to issue a permit to remove those, which would open up space to replant. It's a very tight property with the condos, so they're very limited of what space they do have. So that report was done. There was another arborist involved that delayed it. They have somebody else that did the report. They filed that report with me that shows the 16 trees that are in decline and then what they're proposing to replant to mitigate what they removed. We met again to review all that. In my opinion, as staff of one, as an arborist, this satisfies what they removed. All the permits have been applied for and issued. They were required to pull a permit for all 27 trees. One of those had a $350 fine for the stop work order. Those have all been paid and closed. The one permit has been paid and open. That is what they're currently working on, removing the trees. The committee has also been working to upgrade their irrigation system and are running lines for drip for every one of these trees. So they're making a huge effort to replenish what was removed in the wrong way, to correct what they've done. Again, I'm completely satisfied with what they're doing to meet that
Mitigation plan.
that mitigation and that penalty for what they're doing. I do have copies. I believe the lawyer may have a copy too, if you would like to look at
I
it.
wanted to ask, what's the
Well,
reason,
one at a time.
what's the reason for removal?
They may be able to answer that better, the attorney might, for why their reasoning.
You can ask, but it's really irrelevant. The trees are out, they're gone. It doesn't matter why they took them out.
I do know they were told, I believe they were told that a permit would have been or was pulled, but nothing had been. I hadn't approved anything at the time when these were removed.
Any other questions?
Yeah, I have a couple
ahead.
of questions. So, I'll take the easy one first. It says there's a permit application required. That's, from what you said, it sounds like they've already.
Yeah, so all the after-fact permits still would have had to been pulled, and they satisfied all those. So 27 individual after-facts, one for each tree,
Okay,
was issued, paid for, and I've closed those out. Again, there was one $350 fine to attach those for the stop work order. And then there's one single permit that's covering the 16 trees that are in various stages of decline.
okay, so they still got,
That one's still open because they're currently removing those trees as we speak. And they're replanting a total of 63 different varieties of canopy tree throughout the property.
And they're modifying the irrigation.
And modifying the irrigation to make sure they all get drip lines, that they will thrive like they should, and they want the canopy back. They want to do this the right way.
so as far as this, I know in the past we've done like irrevocable damage assessments. Is that something that's based on the fact that you're saying they're compliant, basically, they're doing everything they can? Is that one time, is that 67,000, is that still something we need to consider?
This,
Or,
in my opinion, what they've submitted satisfies that part of that penalty. Staff has asked for consideration as the board of any additional penalties that they may see fit to be applied.
okay, so the $67,200 is, in your mind, resolved?
Yes, it's resolved in everything they've done and what they've submitted, their replanting plan. I'm completely satisfied with
The
that.
permit cost, was there a doubling of the permit cost or just the one-time 350?
It was the one time, I think it was somewhere around $2,000 for all 27, and then maybe the 28th one for the,
Okay, so in your mind, the only, I mean, if we assume that the unlawful removal has been remedied, that basically we're talking about the second, the overall main permit, that's still outstanding as far as what they have not
No, they've
done.
got it, it's just not closed out because they haven't finished the work.
yeah, they haven't finished removing the trees or replanting the new ones. So once that's been done, the current permit that is removing legally the trees that are in decline that I've approved through the report done by the outside arborist. Once that's completed and they have all the trees planted, I'll go out and walk the site with someone, verify that the trees they said and the number are there, and then we'll close out that permit, and that will satisfy what's being replanted and the legal removal right now. As far as all the trees that were removed, all those after facts have been pulled and paid for and closed out.
But they were pulled and closed out after,
Yeah, so they were done as after-fact permits.
right, so they were
do it
done
as-
after the notice of violation on October 27th.
Yes.
And they've already paid, had to pay extra because of that fact,
Yes.
is that, so,
Yes.
okay.
Any other questions for the code officer?
If I can just so it's clear, so the only thing remaining now, the permitting mitigation's been done, the only thing remaining now is what the fine should be for the illegal cutting, the unlawful cutting of each of those trees. So that's why if you look, you'll see that there's like 27 up there. So, of course, the respondent's gonna come up, his attorney's gonna come up, kind of answer any questions, talk to you guys. But still, there's the fine itself for the unlawful cutting.
And correct me if I'm wrong, that would be a lump sum fine for the 27 trees.
Yes.
Good evening,
Good evening.
and please accept my sincerest apologies for my lateness. Sounds like you all know that I was stuck behind the
Yeah,
train.
that's the first time we've heard that, by the way. Never had
I
anybody
almost
stuck,
took pictures to bring in and show everyone.
never had anybody stuck behind a train before.
So I'm gonna give you guys these documents, just for reference more than anything.
Hang on a sec. Ernie, did you want to see them first?
I got a copy for you.
Oh, you did? Okay.
You've seen all of these, I sent them to you.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
In a a moment, I'll have Joshua come up. He's the HOA president. He'll be giving you guys a little bit more of a factual background. But before I have him do that, I just wanted to kind of bring your attention to the irreparable, irreversible issue and what Ernie just touched on, which is that's the outstanding issue at this point, as far as my understanding. And when the board is considering the imposition of a fine, the board is to consider the gravity of the violation, any actions by the violator to correct the violation, any previous violations committed by the violator, the willfulness of the violation, and the violator's ability to correct the violation within a reasonable time. So I'm going to bring Joshua up, and he'll kind of recount the facts, and I'll come back and we'll revisit all that.
Name and address for the record, please.
Joshua Shulkuski. So,
Address?
8638 Miramar Terrace Circle, Temple Terrace.
Good, thank you.
I've been a homeowner there for 10 years now, and been on the board for around 8 or 9 since the D.R. Horton turned over the thing to us. So I'd like to apologize for this mess. The old president actually got fired over all this, so I'm the new president of the board. We did have a reason for getting rid of the trees out front. The pine trees that were there were growing too big and too close to the property, and they were causing like algae growth and everything and causing issues to the buildings. So we had so many meetings for years about this, about cutting them down and replacing them with something else. So we got, somebody got with the city from the board, I don't know who, and we had a list of trees that we could plant that were approved by Temple Terrace. So we wanted to rip down the pine trees and put in, I can't remember what they were now. They weren't maples, but magnolia trees, because we thought they were a nice looking tree, and the tree itself, the leaves were heavy, so they wouldn't fall into our drainage system and clog them. They just come fall in place and be easier to clean up, maintenance, everything. We looked at all that stuff. So when we finally agreed, the board agreed to it and hired the company to remove those trees, and the dead trees that were around and had diseased, they dropped the ball on that and didn't get the permits that caused us all these issues. From the very beginning, we wanted to remove the dead foliage and the foliage we were having issues with new foliage. We never had any intent on just removing stuff just to remove it, and that was it. The front of that wall, that's all those people have for the highway noise for Fowler. So motorcycles all night and all that stuff, especially on Fridays and Saturdays. There's no sound barrier, so we wanted to put some heavy foliage in there for a good sound barrier. And then the city had put in that sidewalk, and there's been so many changes since then. We stopped after they cut the trees down and we got the fine, and we haven't done anything since because we've been going back and forth and waiting on what we can and can't do. We didn't want to make things worse, and so this is where we're at now. Since I became on, we hired Arturo, our lawyer and stuff, to mitigate this stuff, but yeah, our intent was never to just get rid of the stuff and that was it. And matter of fact, we just spent about $10,000 on redoing the irrigation system for where the new stuff is going and the current older stuff. So that's about all I can say for that.
So just a quick question. So you are going to replace trees in front of the wall, and the trees that you took out in front of the wall would just
Yeah, they came up with a plan for all that. So
Look at the very last, it's Exhibit K in your packets. It's the whole document.
Okay.
but that's definitely the area that we want to add in some thick foliage for better sound barrier. And so those balconies that you see in that picture, those are everyone's master bedrooms. So they're just looking directly at the highway. There's really no view and sound and everything. So we definitely want to fill that in with as much foliage as we can to mitigate that.
Okay. Any other questions for the respondent?
If I could.
Sure.
Thanks, Joshua. So, Josh touched on it a little bit, but I just wanted to highlight and it's in your timelines. That was the very first page. In essence, we've gone through 2 board presidents. We've gone through 2 landscape companies, one of which was the original company that was hired. They do hold themselves out as having a certified arborist and being experts at tree removal. I have a printout from their webpage. I don't know if you're interested in me passing that around or not.
If you want to, you can. It's up to you.
So, Ernie, this was not something that in essence, the association was never undertaking any of this with the intention of subverting the rules or the ordinances of Temple Terrace. Since the violation was received, the board has been working dutifully to get to where we are now, which is we are on the cusp of breaking ground on the replanting plan that was provided by Dark Moss. And so we would ask that the board allow the replanting plan to suffice as far as the violation is concerned, or alternatively do some nominal number if there must be the imposition of some fine because of the irrevocable violation. And with that, unless there are any questions, I'll
Any questions?
shut up.
I don't see any questions. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
At this time, I'll entertain a motion.
Can I ask a couple of questions?
Oh, yeah.
From not,
From the arborist?
from Joe, Joe Ferris.
Yeah.
Oh, Joe.
sorry.
Yeah,
So-
the city arborist.
You were never, as far as you can remember, you were never approached by this original company, Millennium?
No.
They never
No,
asked
they
you
never reached
anything?
out.
They never,
They'll never reach out to come out, look at it, discuss any of what their intention were. So, no.
so you, I don't know, I can't know how to say this, but basically you agree with the statements that the defendant, I guess, is making, that they really weren't aware that there was a need for a permit, or that there was a permit that this company was going to take care of that for them. That's a
Yeah,
true
afterwards, I
statement.
was made aware of that situation. That was their intent,
Okay.
was to do that. But that obviously didn't occur by this arborist and this tree service. They never reached out.
Okay, so I don't want to put you on the spot, but do you have any rough idea? Do you believe an additional fine is warranted, and how much would that be, based on your experience with other situations like this?
That I would have to refer to the attorneys. I really don't know where we would stand on additional fines.
I mean, some of the other cases were more clear cut, where we actually had,
Yeah, and
there was no
the
remediation,
last
and
lar-
they
the
was-
last large one we had has not been satisfied.
correct. Yeah.
I mean, they have done everything to rectify their situation, and I've been working with them all these months.
Right.
So, I would have to refer to the attorneys on what those additional ones would be.
Yeah, the city's position would be that a fine should be imposed, but we certainly want you to weigh, everything here. As I said, the action taken by the violators to cure the violation, the gravity of the violation, those 3 things. And, factor in those things that they have done and those expenditures they have already made.
They already spent $67,200.
No, that's what the penalty
That's the
would have
fine.
been
Would
if
have been.
they were to not replant any of the 225 trees. They would have had to pay that amount into
If they did not.
the tree fund.
Okay.
But
But now
they've-
they're mitigating everything they've done.
Yes, they're mitigating, and like I said, they've done a lot of work to try to rectify this, as opposed to just saying, well, we're not going to do anything about it. I mean, they have definitely been working to try to rectify this.
I had a similar question, but now with the attorney, what would be, Ernie, something reasonable like that to, I mean,
Well, that's your job.
we're trying
Relieving
to,
that-
I know it's my job, but I'm afraid I'm gonna make it high.
We'll make, we'll,
That's why we had
I still have
discussion.
a question. I just wanted to
Go
give
ahead.
Rod a chance.
Go ahead.
They got the 27 permits after after the fact.
Yeah, they did that after fact.
How much extra did they pay on permits for?
It was around a couple $1,000s, I believe,
And
with,
that's just an extra fees.
yeah, permit, tree removal permit, $65.50. We did have the one that had the extra $350 for the stop work orders. That was a $415.50 permit. So it was a 27 plus the one for the 16 that they're working to take down legally.
Part of this mitigation plan, in addition to the trees they are planting, are they also doing some sort of tree donation or monetary donation to our tree bank?
No, it was this.
That was it, okay, just on-site trees?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Don't forget, they also.
And they are replanting in that front area. I know that was a question. They're doing little gems in that area where those pine trees. I believe they have 10 of them there, and they've got another 13 around the site. Little gem magnolias.
Please wait to be recognized. So, anybody else? Rod?
They also hired an attorney, so that's excellent.
Okay, any other questions or comments? If not, I'll entertain a motion. Go ahead.
I'll give it a shot.
Thank you.
So in case number 22-5382, I move that the city has proven by the greater weight of the evidence the following violations of the City of Temple Terrace City Code exist on the property located at 11568 Morris Bridge Road. The code sections are 12-768 subsection A subsection 1 and 8-28 subsection A subsection 1. This motion is based on the sworn testimony this board has received from Code Enforcement Officer Lori Smith, as well as City Arborist Joe Ferris, and any other witnesses, along with any other evidence, including photos, affidavits, and notice of violation, all of which is received and entered as part of the record of this hearing. I further move that said violations be corrected on or before December, what is it?
Let's see what-
Or no, we don't have that.
And this is irreparable.
Yeah, this is, sorry, yeah, forget that. So upon considering the following factors, the gravity of the violation, any actions taken by the violator to correct the violation, and any previous violations committed by the violator, I move that a one-time fine of, brief explanation. I'm gonna go with 10% because that is traditionally what we've done on lien reductions and also situations where we had a one-time fine or a repeat violation. So I'm gonna go with 10% of the number, which was, if I can find it here, so it would be $6,720.
Okay, I don't,
Do I need to say anything else?
and that's 10% of what would have been,
What would have been the,
what would have been the fine had they not come up with a mitigation plan, which they did come up with. I think, okay, well, we'll see
Well,
we'll see if you get a second.
yeah, I'm just throwing it
Okay,
out.
okay. We have a motion, do we have a second? No, it doesn't look like you're gonna get a second, so motion fails
just wanted to-
motion fails, lack of a second, we need a new motion.
Just wanted to get the ball rolling.
Anybody else wanna make a motion?
If he corrects his motion to $3,000, I would second it.
So you don't get,
I'm just asking, are we talking about per tree or?
no,
No,
it's a one, the fine, however they come up with it, they can do it by tree, but it's gonna be a lump sum fine, whatever the number is. Okay? Yeah,
Let's let somebody else make a motion. Go ahead, David.
I'll make a motion, but I think you know what it's gonna be.
well, make a motion.
Okay, all right, I'll make a motion.
The first motion failed for lack of a second, so we need a new motion.
In case number 225382, I move that the city has proven by a greater weight of the evidence the following violations of the City of Temple Terrace Code exist on the property, located at 11568 Morris Bridge Road. The applicable sections are 12-768 subsection A subsection 1 and section 8-28 subsection A subsection 1. The motion is based on the sworn testimony this board has received from the Code Enforcement Officer Lori Smith, along with any other evidence, including photos, affidavits, and notice violation, all which have been received as part of the record of hearing. I further move there be no fine imposed for the violation of the code sections, all of the above, because the violations were brought into compliance prior to the date of the hearing, In addition, remediation plans have been put into place, and the city arborist feels that the goal has been met as far as like what fines would have been assessed. I further move that any remaining, there are no remaining violations. And I've done this upon considering the following factors: the gravity of violation, the actions taken by the violators to correct the action, and any previous.
Okay, we now have a motion. Do we have a second?
I will second it just for, so we can open the conversation.
We have a motion, we second. Any further discussion? Bill?
Yeah, I sort of felt like, and the city felt it was, I don't know, they weren't ordering it, but they were sort of implying that we should assess some sort of fine, just because, it was a mistake, but I don't know, I just.
Yeah, I'm there with you, and I think the thing that really has pushed me over is that normally when we get these, like you had a stop work order, you didn't get a permit, we usually say you've got a fine unless you go get the permit.
Yeah.
And then if they get the permit, they pay extra for the permit for getting it late and everything. So they pay, they justice is served, for lack of a better term. And I feel like Joe said that they've done it right, and they've put a significant investment into what they're doing.
I basically agree with you.
Yeah.
I just was trying to be consistent with some of the other findings that we've had as far as lien reductions, and also one-time, repeat violations that have been corrected. Sometimes we charge them 10%, but I'm okay with no fine. But I'll leave it open to other people.
Anybody else? Okay, so you had, I'll get to you in a sec. The city has indicated that they would like to see a nominal fine.
That's what
If we do,
that's what I heard.
if we do a by tree fine of even $50 a tree, that's only $1,350. So, hold on to that thought while we hear from Ernie.
Well, I just wanted to quickly remind the board that if someone had come in, got their permits ahead of time and everything else, they still have to go through in the cost of the mitigation. That's why we're saying, that the city would like to see a fine. I just wanted to clarify that.
So,
And remind the board that even when people do it right, they still have to do mitigation.
So is it the fines for the fine for the stop work order and the fine for or the additional costs in getting the permit, are those not considered by the city when determining additional costs that somebody should pay when they're found in violation?
Well, some of that cost is the additional cost required by the city to go through the mitigation plan and to go through and have to do, if it was building construction, they'd have to do additional inspections. It's to reimburse the city for the extra time involved. It's not so much as a fine as it is to try to recoup some of the cost incurred. Go ahead.
Well, for me, I like round numbers, like $1,500.
Well, you said $50 times 27 trees is $1,350.
I know, I'm just, like I said, I like round numbers, so that was just.
We can make it, we have a motion, you have a second, we can vote on it, you can modify it, whatever you guys want to do.
I feel like any number we put on it's going to be arbitrary. Like we don't really have yours was the closest basis, right?
I was suggesting, 3,000, but because of, I agree with Bill, because we did something like that on certain issues. However, I will go with 1,500, because that's at least, that's very, very minimum. If you add the other cost with it, it does not even come to 10% of what they have done so far.
I agree, it's an arbitrary number, but I don't, do we have anything else to?
That's what I said, $50 a tree is $1,350.
Yeah, I would go with $1,300. That seems like split the difference a little bit.
1,350, is that what you said?
Yeah,
$50 a tree is $1,350, 27 trees.
I'm okay with that too, I just, like I said, I'm.
Okay, who made the motion?
Round number kind
Is
of-
it you, Dave? So you would have to be willing to modify your motion.
I would amend the motion to be a fine of $1,375. Was that it? $1,350.
Okay, we have a revised motion. Who seconded the first motion?
Second it.
Your second? Okay, we have a motion, we have a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? No nays, motion carries. So the fine from this board is $1,350. Okay? And good luck, thank you for coming in.
Thank you.
Next case, please.
Okay, case number 234880, City versus Brian Nodwong and Catherine Nodwong for the property located at 309 Belclaire Place. The case is before the board based on an alleged violation of Section 8-28A1, permits application required. The case will be prosecuted this evening by Code Compliance Officer Jose Silva. The city has evidence that the notice of violation and notice of hearing were properly served.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, board members, Jose Silva, Code Compliance Officer. This case originated on September 27, 2023. Community Development requested a notice of violation to be generated for a fence being installed without a permit. This time, a completed notice of violation with compliance date of October 9, 2023. Posted the notice at the home as well as City Hall. Also mailed copies both certified and regular mail to the address of the registered owner. On October 13, 2023, I checked the system and noted no permit was yet obtained, so it was set for the November Municipal Code Board. This time, I'd like to submit photographic evidence. The notice posted at the front door and the stop work order.
We'll accept those, thank you.
I also did have contact with the respondent via email on October 18th and requested that she show up tonight to give an update on the status of her case.
Any questions for the code officer? Is the property still in violation?
Yes, sir.
Any other questions for the code officer?
Is the property owner here?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So we'll hear from them next. Thank you. Do you, one or both of you want to say something? Name and address, please.
My name is Catherine, last name No Duong, address at 309 Belclaire Place, Temple Terrace, Florida. So I got this notice of the word violation order, and soon as I received the notice, I've been working alongside with Paul Lyles, the permit coordinator, community development. He's in the room over there, and he's been helping me fix what I need to fix in order to submit the necessary documents for the permit, for the after-fact fence permit. In doing so, he gave me a list of everything that I need, and the only thing that I am missing is just a boundary survey. My mom is a real estate agent, and she has helped me try to locate a boundary survey for the property on Hillsborough County Appraisal, but she was not able to successfully locate what we need. So I went into the office again and spoke with Paul to see if he could help me coordinate and get a survey found, because that's the only thing that I was missing, and he too could not find it. So we basically ended up, long story short, I needed to hire a surveyor. So that's what I did on October 31st. So I have been working to find a company surveyor to come out and survey the property for me. I do have the invoice from the company, and now I'm just waiting for them to come back to me with the paperwork. So they did come out already to survey the property a couple days ago. I'm just waiting on the paperwork.
Okay.
And that's the only thing that I'm missing.
Is the fence already up?
The fence is up.
Okay.
I was only replacing the fence. So when we got the property, there was already a chain fence there. I didn't know that, you need to put in a work order or any sort of permit to replace a fence. I understand if it was a different story where there was no fence there at all, but this is just a replacement to make the property look nicer. And this is not a HOA enforced neighborhood, so I just really had no idea that I was supposed to place a...
Okay, so assuming the survey comes back and the fence is not on somebody else's property, then you'll hand that in, you'll get the permit, and everything will be golden.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But what happens if the fence if the boundaries of the fence is not, if the survey indicates that your fence is on somebody else's property, then you're gonna have to move the fence.
Okay.
So,
If that is the case, then
Fingers
I will
crossed.
let you guys, tell me what I need to do. But, we just replaced what was already.
any idea when you're gonna have that actual
I
survey?
emailed the company today, but I didn't get a response. They told me yesterday I would get it today or tomorrow.
Okay.
So, yeah.
And then, so you'll take that down there? permits, and hopefully everything will be fine.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
the only thing that I'm missing is just the boundary survey, and the boundary survey in a PDF format. So that's the only thing I'm missing. I did, however, in the beginning, I spoke with Paul, try to see if I could appeal the work order, the $350 fine in some way, instead of having to pay $500, drop it down to 200 something, I believe. But he said even for them to even consider that, I need all the necessary documents for the fence application, which is what I'm trying to do. So.
Any questions?
I have one
Go ahead.
question. Again, I like to ask every homeowner, did the people who install the fence or replace the fence have any idea? Are they registered to do work? Are they, do they have license? They're licensed contractors?
Yes, they are licensed contractors, but they were not aware that they were supposed to pull any permit. Neither did I, as a homeowner.
It's well known in the city that every contractor, before they do any work, they have to register with the city.
Okay.
Is that true, Ernie, or everybody
I
would
cannot
know?
speak on their behalf.
Yeah, I know, I'm not blaming you.
No,
I know the owner is always becomes the victim, but the contractor, and we have a lot of contractors of those around, all over, they like to take the shortcut. You know, I have no clue why, but, you know, sometimes you hear that the city is hard to issue permits, but it's very simple process. And I like to emphasize that for everybody and whoever is watching us to hear that. Thank you.
Any other questions? Thank you. If there's no other questions, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll do that.
Okay.
In case number 23-4880, I move that the city has proven by the greater weight of evidence the following violation of the City of Temple Terrace City Code exists on the property located at 309 Billy Clare Place, with the applicable code violation of Section 8-28, subsection A, subsection 1, permit application. This motion is based on the sworn testimony this board has received from the code enforcement officer, along with any other evidence, including photos, affidavit, and notice of violation of which is received and entered as part of this record of this hearing. I further move that the said violation be corrected on or before December 13th, 2023. If the respondent does not comply with the order on or before the day, they are ordered to pay a fine for each and every day the violation continue past the date for this violation, this compliance. Upon considering the following factors: the gravity of the violation, any actions taken by the violator to correct the violation, any previous violations committed by the violator, I move that the fine be $25 per day.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion and second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? No nays, motion carries. So you have been found in violation of the code. You have until December 13th to basically get your permit. Okay, if something happens, like the survey comes back and you gotta move the fence, you can come back to us on December 13th, that's our next meeting, and ask for an extension. No guarantee you'll get it, but you can ask. But hopefully everything will go smooth, and by December 13th, you'll have your permit, you'll have your fence, and everything will be good.
And if everything is okay in terms of like the location and everything of the fence, what would I have to pay in terms of like the fine?
You won't.
Okay.
If the survey comes back and the fence is in the right spot, and you get your permit before December 13th, you'll be in compliance and there'll be no fine.
Okay.
Okay? Next case?
Okay. Next case is going to be
Unfinished business, right?
235007.
Oh,
23.
Oh, hold on, nope.
no, it should be 231753. Under unfinished business.
Sorry about that. It's going to be 231753, City versus Progress Residential Borrower 21 LLC, for the property located at 9039 Water Chestnut Drive. The deadline for compliance was October 11th, 2023. An affidavit of compliance was submitted by Code Officer Lori Smith for Section 8-28A1 dated October 12th, 2023.
The respondent is here, I assume?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
what I was told. Are you here for
On case?
long? Hold on one second.
Yeah, so I think, yeah, because there was, you said it was in compliance.
Wrong case?
I gave you the unfinished, yes.
Okay.
So we'll go to the,
Okay, let's go, so we're going to 5007. I forget everything she said. We're going to go back to active cases, and we're going to 235007.
235007, City versus Alejandro Alvarez, for the property located at 5215 Lawnwood Avenue. The case is before the board based on an alleged violation of Section 12-860 in-ops, outdoor storage equipment. The case will be prosecuted this evening by Code Compliance Officer Doug Allen. The city has evidence that the notice of violation and notice of hearing were properly served.
Thank you. Before he begins, let's get this right. My copy says Lawnwood Drive, and you said Lawnwood Avenue. Which is it?
Drive.
Drive?
Sorry.
Okay. Floor's yours, sir.
Thank you. Doug Allen, Code Compliance Officer. This case was originated by me on October 4th, 2023 for an inoperative vehicle without a current tag. I left a door hanger with a reinspection date of October 12th, 2023. My reinspection on October 12th showed no change, so I generated a notice of violation on that date with a reinspection date of October 18th. I posted the notice at the front door, and a copy was posted at City Hall for the 10-day requirement, and copies were mailed, both certified and regular mail, to the owner of record. My reinspection on October 19th, 2023 showed no change, so I prepared a notice of hearing and scheduled the case for the November Municipal Code Board meeting. I would like to submit photographic evidence taken by me on October 12th and October 18th, 2023.
Accept that, thank you.
Exhibit number 1 shows the posting of the notice of violation, and exhibit number 2 shows the out-of-date tag. This time the site is not in compliance, and I'm seeking a ruling.
Any questions for the code officer?
Have you talked with, have they reached out to you at all, the owner?
Well, the owner
Oh,
didn't,
he's
but
here.
yeah, the residents here,
Come on.
the tenants here.
Any other questions? Thank you. Did you want to say something? Come on up, state your name and address for the record, please.
Chairman, members of the board, my name is Jamie Yancey. I'm the tenant at 5215 Longwood Drive. I'm not the owner. I think he's out of the country right now. So we were out of town when the notices were originally put, so we returned home from Massachusetts with those. The vehicle is, it needs new brakes and it needs a new front bumper. My wife got in an accident, it's her vehicle. So I actually am using a company car. And so that vehicle's there. We're just kind of saving the money in order to fix it. When we got the notice, we haven't re-registered it because it's not insured. It's not drivable right now. But it's not like an eyesore on the neighborhood or anything. It's a perfectly fine car. It's just the front bumper that needs to be redone and the brakes. Depending on what happens at this hearing, we're out of our lease right now. We were considering perhaps even moving because we're not in a position to fix the vehicle right now. The inspector let me know that, I can use a car covering for the time being. I didn't even know that was an option, but I'll definitely take care of that, tomorrow.
Any questions for the
I'm
respondent?
just curious, so you can't get a new tag if the car's not drivable? I thought you could get a tag regardless.
I can get a tag. It's just that in order to get the tag, we have some tolls and things that need to be done. And if I pay that off, it delays me from getting the car back on the road and get it drivable so that I can re-register it. So we're just a small family. It's just me and my wife. I'm the only one that works. We're just saving our money, putting it together. Going to get the car back on the road. It's almost paid off. So that's the goal.
So your plan is to buy a cover for the car and.
I'm gonna buy a cover for the car tomorrow, get it covered, that way it will be in compliance.
Okay.
Any other questions? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
If there's no other questions, I'll entertain a motion.
All
I'll do
right.
it.
Oh, you got it? Okay.
Thank you.
In case number 23-5007, I move that the city has proven by a greater weight of the evidence the following violations of the City of Temple Terrace City Code exist on the property located at 5215 Lawnwood Drive. Violation being section 12-860. This motion is based on the sworn testimony this board has received from the code enforcement officer, Douglas Allen, as well as the renter, other witnesses, along with any other evidence, including photos, affidavits, and the notice of violation, all of which is received and entered as part of the record of this hearing. I further move that said violation be corrected on or before December 13th. If the respondent does not comply with this order on or before that date, they are ordered to pay a fine for each and every day the violation continue past the date set for the compliance. Upon considering the following factors, the gravity of the violation, any actions taken by the violator to correct the violation, and any previous violations committed by the violator, I move that the fine is to be $25 per day.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion is second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? No nays? So you've been found in violation of the code. You have until December 13th to bring the property into compliance. Otherwise, a fine of $25 per day will begin to accrue. If you're going the cover route, be sure to get with the code officer before you leave today to make sure you understand exactly what you got to get. Okay? Thank you. Next case, please. Should be 23-5064.
Case is 23-5064, City vs. Jewish Enrichment Center Incorporated, for the property located at 13105 North 52nd Street. The case is before the board based on alleged violation of Section 12-786A1, tree unlawful removal, Section 8-28A1, permits application required, and Section 10-35, sanitation abutting property. The case will be prosecuted this evening by Code Compliance Director Tom Baroni. The city has evidence that the notice of violation and notice of hearing were properly served.
Good evening, Tom Baroni, Code Compliance. On October 6, 2023, I received a text message from Inspector Laurie Smith that a 20-inch live oak tree was cut down without a permit. When I arrived, I noted a 20-inch live oak tree cut down and tree debris left at the curb. I spoke to the occupant and asked if he had permission to remove the tree. He had no permit, nor did he have permission from the city arborist to remove the tree. I posted a stop work order at that morning and requested that the resident come into City Hall to apply for a tree permit. As of October 16, 2023, there has been no change. Therefore, a notice of violation was prepared with the compliance date of October 24th, 2023. I posted the notice at the front door, and I requested copies to be sent certified first-class mail. I also requested a copy to be posted at City Hall for the 10-day requirement. On the 26th of October, my reinspection noted no change. At this time, I would like to submit photographic evidence of the violation. Exhibit number 1 shows the front door posting of the notice letter. Exhibit number 2 shows the posting of the stop work order. And Exhibit 3 shows the 20-inch DBH live oak tree that was cut down. I'd like to submit at this time.
Accept those. Thank you. Any questions for the code officer?
Hold on. I have some more to give you.
Oh, okay. Thought so.
It's okay. So as of today, the curbside tree debris has been removed from the property. The tree permit has been applied and submitted, but it has not been obtained and has not been paid. So therefore, the property remains out of compliance, but at this time, I'd like to submit an affidavit of compliance for the curbside tree debris. I'd like
That's
to.
1035?
1035.
Okay. So 1035 is in compliance, but because the permit has not actually been paid for, then
Or obtained.
nor obtained, so 12-768 subsection A subsection 1 is still in violation, and so is 828A1.
Yes.
Okay.
And if you have any questions, the city arborist is here.
Yeah.
I requested to the scene. He observed the violation and declared it a tree that was not permitted to be taken down.
Okay, very good. Any questions?
Yeah, so is this is different from the previous one, the tree removal that we talked about? What,
It's a different location.
I know it's a different location, but I mean, as far as irrevocable fine.
It was my mistake that I didn't prepare that,
Okay.
irreversible, but this was only one single tree that was taken
Okay.
down.
But there still is that potential
Yes.
fine
So he
for
has to
that.
also plant either 10 trees on the
Okay.
property or has to pay a fine of $300.
300, okay.
Is that correct, Joe? Well, he's already rapping already. So. Was I close?
You were close.
Okay.
Who's close?
So the permit, the stop work order I placed on there included $350 fine. Per our equivalent chart in our code, trees between 20 to 23 inch in DBH, diameter breast height, require, excuse me, mitigation of 10 trees. So I gave the option that they can replant 10 trees on the property, or they pay $300 per tree into the fund, so a total of $3,000 on top of the additional fees.
Oh, okay.
Fine for the permit itself. The permit again was issued on 10/19. One of my permit techs called that same day, let them know it was ready for pickup. The tree service has not yet, as Tom said, come in to pick up and pay for the permit.
The permit, okay, so it's sitting in your office ready. It
It's
just
here in my
hasn't,
hand.
it has not been picked up, it has not been paid
picked up
for.
or paid for.
And even if they do pay for it, they still have 3,003.
Or the homeowner says he's gonna plant 10 trees.
Okay.
So I give them 60 days from the date the permit is pulled to plant those trees, go out and verify that they are before I will close out the permit.
Just for my curiosity, is there a minimum size of tree that has to,
15 gallon,
15 gallon?
15 gallon trees.
So 10, 15 gallon trees. Okay. Any other questions?
Yeah, I'm still a little confused on where we stand as far as compliance and what do you
Well,
expect? what-
the compliance is getting the permit. Okay, in order for them to get the permit, they have to pay the 350 plus 3,000, I guess, right? Or plant 10 trees.
They plan to plant all 10 trees.
Okay, so they pick up, how long do they have to plant the 10 trees?
I give them 60 days from the date the permit is pulled, which I believe is a reasonable time to obtain 15 trees and plant those.
60 days from the time they pick up the permit or the date of the permit?
From the date, it'll be the date that it's paid for. That becomes the
Okay.
new issue date once it's paid for.
So 60 days from the date the permit is paid for, which would be 350 plus the permit cost, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
So would this come back to us if they don't plant the trees? Is that, I mean, how do you get the $3,000
Good
from?
question. I haven't had that yet, in case it's
There?
didn't get to the code board because they didn't
Well,
delay.
but here,
come into compliance.
what we are dealing with here tonight
Too violent, yeah.
is the remaining outstanding violation of not getting the permit.
Okay.
So what we will be giving them is until December 13th to get the permit and pay all the fees that go along with getting the permit. Otherwise, they will have a fine of whatever you guys decide until they pick up the permit. Once they pick up the permit, they will have 60 days to plant 10 trees. If they do not plant those 10 trees, it won't come back to us, it'll be your issue.
But there's a second violation, tree unlawful removal, so how?
That's the tree unlawful removal and the A28 is the permit thing. In order, the violation, both those violations will be cured once he gets the permit. So that's where we're at.
Okay, so I have another question for Director Barone when he gets a chance.
Let me see, that's what he's done.
Just a suggestion, what we might do here so that we can stay consistent with the irreparable, irreversible. You've gotten all the info, looks like the property owner is working toward compliance. Perhaps if we continue this case a month, that will allow them to provide a new notice saying that it's irreparable, irreversible, and then it would come back in front of you as an irreparable, irreversible case.
Even if he plants the trees.
Yeah, because again, everybody's got to mitigate.
Okay.
You know, just like what I was saying.
Just like the previous case, yeah.
If that's acceptable, I'll need a motion to, what's the word I'm looking for? Continue, thank you. To continue the case until a date certain, which will be December 13th.
Okay. I move that we, let's see which case number we got here. Which one are we on?
235064.
Okay. In case number 235064, I move that we can continue the, I guess, postpone or continue.
Not postpone, you continue.
Continuing the case until December 13th, 2023.
We have a motion, do we have a second?
Second.
Motion is second, any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, no nays, motion carries. Next case, please.
Sorry, Joe, you got to come back.
I'm gonna go with the second one. It's gonna be 23-4683, City versus Mariah Solinsky and Dominique Solinsky for the property located at 325 Brentwood Drive. The case is before the board based on alleged violation of Section 10-34, sanitation, keep premises clean. The case will be prosecuted this evening by Code Compliance Officer Jose Silva. City has evidence that the notice of violation and notice of hearing were properly served.
Good evening again, board.
Hold on, before you get started, Mr. Silva, my copy says Brentwood Court. Is it court or drive?
It's drive.
Okay. Mine says court. All right. Floor is yours, sir.
Again, board members, Jose Silva, Code Compliance Officer. This case originated on September 14, 2023. Inspection at the time noted the yard grass of the residence to be overgrown, along with a large dirt mound in the front yard. This time I left door hangers with a compliance date of September 19, 2023. On September 20, 2023, I received a call from the homeowner on an unrelated issue. At this time, I inquired about the status of the door hangers that I had left at the residence. I was advised they did receive the door hangers, but were leaving town, and upon returning the following week, the grass and the dirt mound will be taken care of. My inspection on October 3rd, 2023, noted the yard grass cut, but the dirt mound was still in the front yard. This time I completed a notice of violation with a compliance date of October 13th, 2023. Posted a notice at the property as well as City Hall. Copies were mailed, both certified, regular mail to the address of the registered owner. My inspection on October 16, 2023, noted the dirt mound still present in the front yard. This time I'd like to submit photographic evidence of the notice posted at the residence and the dirt mound in the front yard.
We'll accept that, thank you.
It's on range.
As of this afternoon, the dirt mound is still there, so I'm seeking a ruling.
Big mound.
Big dirt mound. Big dirt.
Question. Has the dirt mound been reduced at all? Is it like they're working on it, or has it just been the same?
A little bit, but there's still a lot there.
Does it look like that dirt was brought in, or?
It's brought in.
Yeah, okay. Any idea what they're gonna do with it?
No, sir.
Okay.
That's been a problem residents for code.
Yeah, okay. Any other questions?
I guess
Go
you said
ahead.
it's been a problem for, in what regard do you mean?
Yes, it's been a problem. We've been receiving complaints on the condition, the overgrown grass, the dirt mound. Now there's wicker furniture in the yard, which will be another case that'll be coming at a different time, and so forth.
Saw a range on the front door. That's a
Yes, they're doing, there's a lot of construction going on. They do have permits for the remodel that's occurring there.
Okay.
One
Go
question.
ahead.
While they're doing remodeling, is that okay to have a dirt mound?
Maybe doing something in the backyard.
No, I'm just thinking because they might have remodeling backyard, the landscaping.
We're getting nods, no.
Sir, that dirt mound's been there a long time.
Oh, okay, and I like the question that did they just reduce it or take something?
Reduced it a little bit, but I mean, it's still there.
Okay, thank you. If there's no other questions, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll do it. In the case number 23-4683, I move the city is proven by the greater weight of evidence the following violations of City of Temple Terrace City Code exist on the property located at 325 Brentwood Drive. The applicable sections are section 10-34, sanitation. This motion is based on sworn testimony this board has received from the Code Enforcement Officer Jose Silva, along with any other evidence, including photos, affidavits, and the notice of violation, all of which is received and entered as part of the record of this hearing. I further I further move that said violation be corrected on or before December 13th, 2023. If the respondent does not comply with this order on or before that date, they are ordered to pay a fine for each and every day the violations continue past the date set for compliance. Upon considering the following factors: the gravity of the violation, any actions taken by the violator to correct the violation, and any previous violations committed by the violator, I move that the fine be $50 per day.
We have a motion, do we have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second, any further discussion?
Why $50?
I chose $50 because the code enforcement officer said that this has been a problem site, and if they're having trouble maintaining the property's composure, then hopefully this will help.
Well, has it been, is it just currently while they're doing the renovations, or has it been something that's ongoing? Been ongoing?
Sounds like it's been ongoing. Sounds like it's been-
They were here a year ago for a trailer case that was unscreened from view. They have 25 outdoor furniture chairs in the driveway right now. That's an eyesore.
The destination wedding.
We've been receiving email complaints on it from residents that live right there. That dirt pile's been there at least 3 months. If they were doing some construction, they were using it, it would have been gone already. The house next door has been a complete remodel, and their yard looks better than this.
They don't have dirt mounds?
Excuse me?
The neighbor doesn't have a dirt mound too?
I can't hear you, sir.
I'm sorry, I was just
They
making.
don't have matching dirt
Yeah, they
mounds.
don't have matching.
I agree with David on the fine, because I also foresee, we want to become, like a little bit more discouraging and deterrence with these fines, because when it's very little on such things that also neighbors are complaining, and the area, all the area passing by or wherever complaining, that we have to take that a little bit more,
Okay, so
Thank you, Gina.
I've been there with piles of things, because I've had to do it because I do it myself. So if it's something they're doing themselves, of course, they're not here to tell us. It would have been nice if they were here.
Another issue too.
You know, what?
Another issue, they don't care to come here.
Well, that's true.
Let me
So-
ask you then, in all of your experience with piles of stuff, have you ever been in front of the code board for having piles of stuff?
No, but I've had violations.
But you fixed them.
Well, yeah,
These
Right.
folks sound like they've had a lot of time to
Yeah.
fix them.
I don't know. I just,
Okay, if there's no other discussion, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? No nays, one nay. One nay, motion carries. Motion carries, next case, please. Should be 234818.
234818, City versus Florida Minority Community Reinvestment Coalition for the property located at 1113 North River Hills Drive. The case is before the board based on an alleged violation of Section 10-3B, sanitation, grass weeds. The case will be prosecuted this evening by Code Compliance Officer Doug Allen. The city has evidence that the notice of violation and notice of hearing were properly served.
Good evening again, Mr. Chairman and board members. Doug Allen, Code Compliance Officer. This case was originated by me on September 21st, 2023 for overgrown conditions. I left a door hanger with a reinspection date of September 25th. My reinspection on October 3rd showed no change, so a notice of violation was generated on that date with a reinspection date of October 9th, 2023. Posted notice at the site, and the notice was also posted at City Hall for the 10-day requirement, and copies were mailed, both certified and regular mail, to the address of the owner of record. On October 17th, my reinspection showed no change, so I prepared a notice of hearing on that date, and the case was scheduled for the November Municipal Code Board meeting. This time, I'd like to submit photographic evidence of the site taken by myself on October 3rd, 2023. The site is in compliance, and I'd also like to submit an affidavit of compliance.
We'll accept all that, thank you. Any questions for the code officer? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll do this one.
Thank you.
I like to do the ones that in compliance. Okay?
I disagree.
In case number 23-4818, I move that the city has proven by the greater weight of evidence the following violation of the City of Temple Terrace City Code did exist on the property located at 1113 North River Hills Drive. with the applicable code section violation, section 10-3, subsection B, sanitation. This motion is based on the sworn testimony this board has received from the code enforcement officer, Doug Allen, along with any other evidence, including photos, affidavit, and the notice of violation, all which is received and entered as part of the record of this hearing. I further move that there be no fine imposed because the violations were brought into compliance prior to the date of this hearing.
Do we have a motion? Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion is second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? No nays. Motion carries. Next case, please.
Next case is 234907, City versus Ali Aramnish for the property located at 9220 Overlook Drive. The case is before the board based on alleged violation of Section 8-1661H, minimum standards, windows, doors. The case will be prosecuted this evening by Code Compliance Director Tom Baroni. The city has evidence that the notice of violation and notice of hearing were properly served.
Good evening, Tom Baroni, Code Compliance. This case this evening originated proactively on September 28, 2023. My inspection that morning noted the front window of the commercial property broken. I left the door hanger with a reinspection date of October 10, 2023. On my reinspection on October 13th, noted no change. Therefore, a notice of violation was prepared on that same day with a compliance date of October 23rd, 2023. I posted the notice at the front door of the violation. I requested copies to be sent out certified in first-class mail. I also requested a copy to be posted at City Hall for the 10-day requirement. My reinspection on the 26th of October still noted no change. At this time, I'd like to submit photographic evidence of the violation that was taken by me on October 25th, 2023. Exhibit number 1 shows the front door posting of the notice letter on October 18th, 2023. I'd like to submit.
We'll accept. Thank you.
I'm also going to submit an affidavit of compliance.
Good.
Both of them are here.
So the property is in compliance, and I'm submitting an affidavit.
Just a quick question. Is that a broken glass or?
It was a broken pane of glass, yes.
Pane
On the front.
of glass?
Yeah,
Okay. But it takes them a while to,
yes.
I know it's in compliance, but I just, I thought it's like a little wall or something.
No,
Any other questions for the code officer? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion.
All right, I'll do this one.
That's an easy one.
In case number 4907. I move that the city has proven by the greater weight of the evidence the following violation of the City of Temple Terrace Code did exist on the property located at 9220 Overlook Drive. Code section 8-166-1-H. This motion is based on the sworn testimony the board has received from Code Enforcement Director Tom Baroni, along with any other evidence, including photos, affidavits, and notice of violation, all of which is received and entered as part of the record of this hearing. I further move that no fine be imposed because the violations were brought into compliance prior to the date of this hearing.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion is second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? No nays. Motion carries. Next case, please.
Okay, next case is going to be 23-4909, City versus Dania Abraham for the property located at 6103 Oak Fern Court. The case is before the board based on an alleged violation of Section 22-91, City Garbage Service Required. The case will be prosecuted this evening by Code Compliance Officer Lori Smith. City has evidence that the notice of violation and notice of hearing were properly served.
Good evening again, Mr. Chairman, board members. Lori Smith, Code Compliance. This case originated from a citizen complaint on February the 29th, 2023. My inspection revealed a vehicle parked on the front yard grass, a commercial trailer on the driveway, and no active garbage account. This home is an Airbnb. Prepared a notice of violation with a compliance date of October the 3rd, 2023. No one was at home, so I posted the notice letter at the front door and requested copies be sent certified in first-class mail to the owner of record. I also requested a copy be posted at City Hall for the 10-day requirement. My inspection on October the 3rd, 2023 revealed the vehicle was removed from the front yard grass and the commercial trailer was no longer parked on the driveway. However, the garbage account had not been activated by the homeowner. Mr. Chairman, I have had no contact from the owner concerning the lack of the required garbage account. At this time, I would like to submit photographic evidence taken by me on September the 29th and by Officer Allen on October the 14th, 2023.
We'll accept both of those, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Is there evidence of trash being generated? Or,
Sir, there's no cans being placed at the curb. We have, co-staff has been monitoring that. We have not seen the cans out at the curb. Exhibit number 1 shows a notice letter posted at the front door. Exhibit 2 shows a vehicle parked in the front yard grass and also the trailer on the driveway. Exhibit number 3 shows the vehicles they're occupying. This has been occupied by rental customers coming to that Airbnb. As of today's date, the site is not in compliance, and I am seeking a ruling.
okay. But again, there's no evidence of the trash being put out curbside or anything, so I don't wonder.
We have to have an active.
Yeah, I know, but since they don't, what are they doing with the trash?
Sir, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe if that's something, being that it's a rental property, maybe it's in the rental agreement.
They're likely there on Saturdays and Sundays, and
They
whatever
clean.
they're doing.
They take it with them?
Trash, they're taking- The cleaning people are probably taking it with them.
Well, okay,
That's what I'm thinking.
yeah, okay, makes sense.
Because I've been monitoring their pickup days. That zone, I mean, their pickup days is
They
Mondays
have,
and Thursdays.
but they have a water permit?
The water is, yes.
A Water City of Tampa,
Yes,
okay.
sir.
Just curious, how much is a garbage
It's
pickup
around 24 something.
per month? A month?
It's $33.
Okay.
$33.
A month,
Yes.
okay.
I thought it was part of our taxes.
No,
No.
no, you pay it. Comes with your, if you have city water, it comes part of your water.
Okay.
Yeah, water bill, but if you have City of Tampa water, you get a separate bill.
Got it.
I have a question,
Go ahead.
and it's to you or Tom. I am a little bit confused on this one, but forgive me. So they don't have an account for trash pickup,
Yes, sir.
and all they have to do is just register and have an account,
Yes, sir.
and that's mandatory, even if they claim that the house is vacant.
As long as there's electricity going to the house, they're required to obtain a garbage account.
That's mandatory, it's an ordinance,
Yeah, it's in the
okay.
code.
I'm just, because that's, I think it's easy to correct that, but they see that they don't want to, but,
Again, I have not been contacted by the homeowner, but the notice of violation was definitely left at the property on the front door. My posting was on the door, so.
Done what you had to do? Any other questions?
I got a quick question. Do you have evidence for it to be an Airbnb?
We did. Yes, but that's not really,
It's not relevant.
really right. It
Look,
doesn't,
if there's electricity going to the house, whether it's an Airbnb, a rental, or home ownership, it has to have a garbage.
It's relevant to me if I'm the one that's gonna make a motion.
Okay.
Because of the gravity of the situation, because it goes from being just a regular property to now something more pseudo-commercial, in my mind.
Well, maybe in your mind, but that's not, shouldn't matter.
Well, it does, I mean, if it's gonna be, we can say,
Anyway,
we're gonna make a
we'll
motion.
discuss that later.
Yeah.
Also, I believe in the photographs, the different days, you can see the different vehicles that were there at the site. I know that doesn't prove, as what you were saying,
there's activity.
Mr. Redding,
There's activity.
Mr., excuse me?
There's activities at that.
Yes, sir, there are definitely people coming to stay at that location.
But whether it's a rental or still a violation, so.
right.
Any other questions? Thank you, Lori.
You have
If there's no other questions, I'll entertain a motion.
This guy seems like he's ready.
He wants to do it. He wants to do it.
In case number 23-4909, I move that the city has proven by a greater weight of the evidence the following violations of the City of Temple Terrace Code exist on the property located at address 6103 Oak Fern Court. The applicable code section is 22-91 for city garbage account. This motion is based on the sworn testimony this board has received from the Code Enforcement Officer Lori Smith, along with any other evidence, including photos, affidavit, and the notice of violation, all of which is received and entered as part of the record of this hearing. I further move that said violations be corrected on or before December 13th, 2023. If the respondent does not comply with this order on or before that day, they are ordered to pay a fine for each and every day the violation continues past the date set for compliance. Upon consideration of the following factors, the gravity of the violation, any actions taken by the violator to correct the violation, and any previous violations committed by the violator, I move the fine be $100 per day.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion is second. Any further discussion?
Yes, there'll be.
Yes, there will be discussion about this.
I second it so he can have his say.
Go ahead, Bill.
You're welcome
Go
to
ahead.
chime,
Please.
chime in, yeah. So I know we've been instructed in the past that we should not distinguish between a property owner who lives in Temple Terrace and owns the house versus commercial property or a rental house that somebody else owns that doesn't live in Temple Terrace. We've been instructed there should be no difference in the way we fine, in the amount that we fine, and the fines that we come up with. And I personally think $100 is super excessive. I mean, I could maybe go 50 just to, obviously, apparently 30. We'll make it better, more than the $33 a month. That's why I asked how much they have to pay for a permit or a service. So I could go with 50 just to, make it more painful for them than actually getting the account. I could go with that, but $100 I think is too high, way too high for me.
Just so hang on a second. Just so you understand it, the theory behind that is whether it's a rental, whether it's owned by it's owner occupied or it's an Airbnb, that has absolutely nothing to do with whether or not there's a violation. The violation stands on its own. The ownership has and the violation doesn't matter. Still, whether if it was owner occupied and we didn't have a garbage permit, it would still be a violation. So that's kind of the theory behind that. So, and some of this drove by. There was a time in Temple Terrace, probably across the country, where there was the banks were owning a lot of these properties, and people thought we should start penalizing the banks just because they own the property. Justice is blind. Okay, it doesn't have whether it's bank owned or anybody else owned. The violation is a violation is a violation. It has nothing to do with the ownership of the property.
I mean, we actually had the city attorney actually came and told us you cannot base your fine amount on who, whether it's considered sort of a business or a person.
We have to treat everybody the same.
So,
Rod was very, very eager to speak.
Can I say something? I agree really 100% with David because...
Which David?
Yeah.
Not you.
Valid question.
David, not you.
Reading.
This is a simple fix. All they have to do is to go and get services. Whether they want to get their can out or wherever they want to take their trash, they can. First of all, they did not even respond, if I understand from...
Have not responded.
No response. That $100, I hope, will make them respond. If you do it low, I don't think they're going to care or whatever. I just want a number that shock them, and per day. That's basically how I feel. So that's why I second.
Okay.
Well, now, if the instruction is to disregard the fact that it's a short-term rental or an Airbnb, then I would probably adjust down to $50 would be
Okay. So
would be high.
it's up to you.
I will second it again.
Well, I mean, I want to do it.
I really like, them to respond. And it's a very simple fix, that's $33, as Tom said. It's nothing. And this is...
And don't forget, it's not, the $33 is $33 a month. Not 50, and the suggestion was $50 a day.
Honestly, given that, I was pretty vocal about that being the motivation behind the fine. If this was an individual owner occupied, let's say $25 a day is what I would amend it to.
The fact that they haven't responded, I think, is worth a little extra, as opposed to the $25. So I'm in agreement with the 50.
I don't know, $25 a day, like David said, versus $33 a month. You don't got to be, you don't have to have done better than me in math. to know
But
that, you know.
it's an attention, it makes them pay attention and at least respond or do something. Because that's, again, it's required, as I understand from Tom. They cannot be having, whatever, even if they rent it once a month, unless the electricity is disconnected, then they don't have to.
Make
You said-
your motion. Or amend your motion, or withdraw it.
There's so many, all right. I would amend my motion to be a fine of $50 a day.
We have an amended motion,
I'll second that.
and it's been seconded. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? No nays, motion carries. Next case, please.
Next case is 23-5152, City versus Aldwin LLC for the property located at 405 Park Ridge Avenue. The case is before the board based on alleged violation of Section 8-28A1, permits application required. The case will be prosecuted this evening by Code Compliance Officer Doug Allen. The city has evidence that the notice of violation, notice of hearing were properly served.
Good evening once again, Mr. Chairman and board members. Doug Allen, Code Compliance Officer. This case was originated by me on October 11th for a wooden fence installed without a permit. I went directly to a notice of violation on that date with a reinspection date of October 23rd. I posted the notice at the site as well as at City Hall for the 10-day requirement, and copies were mailed, both certified and regular mail, to the address of the owner of record. My reinspection on October 27th showed no change, so I prepared a notice of hearing on that date, and the case was scheduled for the November Municipal Code Board meeting. This time I'd like to submit photographic evidence taken by myself on October 12th.
We'll accept that, thank you.
Looks like you've been active.
It's a very glowy.
Exhibit number 1 shows the notice of violation posting, and exhibit number 2 shows the screenshot of the work without permit stop work order from community development. I don't know if you remember last month I brought a case, the same house, for the fence was in disrepair, but they'd taken the fence down and put up a new fence and installed it backwards and didn't have a permit. So last month's was in compliance because they took the old fence down, so this is the same site, but somebody did go and actually turn the fence around, so it's facing correctly now, but nobody ever turned a permit.
Is this the location that had the fabric in front of it too, or whatever it was?
Nope,
No, it's a different location?
that was a
Okay.
different one. So the site's still not in compliance. I checked again at 4 o'clock this afternoon to see if they'd gotten a permit, but the site's not in compliance.
Okay.
I'm seeking a ruling.
Very good.
Can we ask him a question?
You may ask a question.
So first time they had it turned
Right,
around,
yeah.
but was it with a permit?
No, last month I had the case, for the same site, brought a case because the fence was in disrepair. Well, they took the old fence down and installed a new one, but they had it facing the wrong way, but they also didn't have the permit. Somebody's gone back in the past month, turned the fence around facing the right way, but they still never obtained the permit.
Yeah, they were in compliance last.
They were in compliance
Because they
because the old
take-
fence,
they
right,
took the
the old
fence
fence had
down.
come down, so
Yeah.
that made it in compliance because it couldn't be in disrepair because
You
it
told
was
us
there.
you were gonna come back with another.
Yeah.
They were here last.
Because I
Yes.
started to remember this case.
One at a time, one at a time.
Have you had contact with the person?
Somebody who said he was the contractor who had put the fence up said that they called me about 2 weeks ago and said that they were gonna send a crew out to turn it around and get a permit. Well, they did send somebody out to turn it around, but
Haven't got the permit.
haven't got the permit.
Okay, so as of right now, it's still not in compliance.
Right.
Okay. Any other questions? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll do it. Because it's the last case. In case number 23-5152, I move that the city has proven by the greater weight of evidence the following violation of the City of Temple Terrace City Code exists on the property located at 405 Park Ridge Avenue with the applicable code violation, Section 8-28, subsection A, subsection 1. This motion is based on the sworn testimony this board has received from the Code Enforcement Officer, Doug Allen, along with any other evidence, including photos, affidavit, and the notice of violation of all, which is received and entered as part of the record of this hearing. I further move that the said violation be corrected on or before December 13, 2023. If the respondent does not comply with this order on or before the day they are ordered to pay a fine for each and every day the violation continue past the date set for compliance upon considering the following factors: the gravity of the violation, any actions taken by the violator to correct the violation, any previous violations committed by the violator. I move the fine be $25 per day.
We have a motion, do we have a second?
I'll second.
Motion and second, any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, no nays, motion carries. That completes our current business. Moving on to unfinished.
Okay, first, 3-0427, City vs. 5400 Bush Boulevard LLC for the property located at 5400 Bush Boulevard. The deadline for compliance is tonight at midnight. In case number 231753, City vs. Progress Residential Borrower 21 LLC for the property located at 9039 Water Chestnut Drive. The deadline for compliance was October 11th, 2023. An affidavit of compliance was submitted by Code Officer Lori Smith for Section 8-28A1, dated October 12th, 2023. Case number 232430, City versus Gordon Patel and Vishnukma Patel for the property located at 12112 North 56th Street. The deadline for compliance was October 11th, 2023. An affidavit of compliance was submitted by Code Officer Lori Smith for Section 8-1661B, dated October 12th, 2023. Case number 23-2847, City vs. John J. Carthy and Hiroko N. Carthy for the property located at 418 Dunedin Circle. The deadline for compliance is tonight at midnight. I also have a couple that are not on the agenda.
Okay.
So case numbers 14-5858 and case number 16-5117, City vs. Melissa Gazzola for the property located at 13203 Sanctuary Cove Drive, number 304. The city offered Ms. Gazzola a lien reduction of $1,400 for the combined liens on this property. Ms. Gazzola accepted this reduction and has paid off the lien on this property.
Which case was that?
14-5858 and 16-5117. And then I also have
So you'll come out with a new one of these?
yes, you'll get a new one.
Okay.
Case number 21-0786, City vs. James L. Evans and Joyce A.G. Evans for the property located at 11305 East Queensway Drive. An affidavit of compliance was submitted by Code Officer Lori Smith for Section 8-10213B. This case is no longer an accruing lien.
Cool.
And that's all I have.
Very good. Does anybody have any other board action? Hang on a second. So Ernie, on the case that you just settled, did they come to you or?
The two that she just talked
Yeah,
about?
yeah.
Yes, they approached us.
Okay, good. That's the way it's supposed to work, huh?
It actually isn't the first time they approached us, but this time they were able to get it done and resolve it, and we can get it.
Okay, good. Very good.
Is the one Pam announced at the city council meeting last
Yes.
night? Okay.
Rod?
No, I just,
You done? You good? Okay, very good. Okay, quarterly liens report, you guys have that in front of you. We just talked about a couple of them.
We do have it in front.
I don't have one.
You should, inside your packet, you should be a,
I have one from last time probably.
yeah.
The 5858 still on there.
I have one in the car.
You have one in the car? Okay. All right, so, new business, this isn't really new business, a few reminders for you guys. One is, please check your emails. As you can see, we've got a couple people that aren't here tonight. It's very important that you, A, don't reply all, and B, let Jen know whether or not you're gonna be able to make it, so we know if we have a quorum or not. We don't currently have any, alternates, right? So you guys are it. So make sure you check your email. Secondly, we do not do verbatim minutes, but it's important to do accurate minutes, and I can't do that, and I can't tell who's talking if you're all talking at once. So raising your hand does not give you permission to talk. Raising your hand lets me acknowledge you so you can give permission to talk. Until you get that acknowledgement, I know you get excited, I know we all have things to say, but wait to get acknowledged, otherwise the minutes, our minutes, makes her job a lot harder, okay? And then the last thing, what was the last thing? Emails. That might be it. Okay, last thing is, motion to adjourn.
Just a question, the new guy no longer?
No, he couldn't make it tonight.
Oh, okay, that's it. Okay, motion to adjourn.
Okay, you have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Motion is second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we are adjourned, thank you.
What do we do?
What's that?
Has anybody ever said no to that?
I
What, to adjourn? Yeah. Not that I'm aware of.